Right, November 2012, paper 1, no calculator. Right, write down the size of angle x. Doesn't ask for reasons, so we can just put down the answer, which is 64. The reason is opposite angles at a point are equal to each other. What about angle y? Again, no reasons, it's 1 mark, so no reasons needed. However, I'll give you some reasons, and the reasons are that we've got ourselves an F shape going on, badly drawn F shape going on there, which means that x and z are equal to each other. That's called corresponding angles, F angles. So z is 64, and y then is on a straight line with that to make 180. So 180 takes 64 will give us our answer, 116 degrees. Coolio. Number 2, in a game, players spin 2 wheels, the wheels are fair, the numbers are added to get the score. The wheels show a score of 4 plus 8 is 12. Okay, and they filled that one in for you. They've given you this table here, I've filled that in basically, so we just add the numbers 1 and 1 is 2, here 4 and 2 is 6, here 6 and 5 is 11, so you just add them all together, and then we've got ourselves a sample space to work with. This bit here is the important bit, the scores that we could possibly get by rolling them 2 wheels and adding them together. So what is the most likely score? Well, we've got some diagonals going on here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 8s. 5, 6, 7, 8 9s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 10s. So the most likely score is the score 9. 2 marks for that. I'm guessing they're giving you a mark for filling in the table, and then 1 for putting 9. We'll work out the probability of winning a prize. Well, the probability of getting a 2 is 1 out of, we've got 8, so 64 and altogether. So we've got 1 out of 64 getting a 2. Of getting a 3, we've got 2 out of 64. And 15 is 2 out of 64. And 16 is 1 out of 64. So altogether, you've got 6 over 64. I'd stop there. Okay, that's fine by me. 6 over 64 gives you the answer. It doesn't ask you to simplify it, so I wouldn't. However, if you did simplify it, then we're looking at 3 over 32. Okay. However, with probability, I personally believe that's 6 over 64, because if you then simplify this wrong, you're going to go and lose yourself a mark. Okay, leave it 6 over 64, they can't take it away from you. Okay, but if you do simplify, then make sure you do it properly. Alright. Winner. Number 3. Good old pie charts. There are 36 men in a running club. The pie chart shows information about their favourite races. Okay. There are 20 women in the club. Here is some information about their favourite races. Use that information. The same proportion. Okay, so what we need to do first, what each of these sections represent, how many people that represent. Okay, so 36 men, and a quarter of them is 9. So 9 for a half marathon. This one here, well, for 120 is a third of 360. So 36 divided by 3 is going to give me 12. So 12 for the 10k run. Right, how am I going to work out the marathon? Well, to work out the marathon, I'm going to be doing 80 divided by 360 to get the size of the angle, and then times that by 36. Weird times. So what is that going to be? Well, 36 divided by 360 is the same as 1 over 10, so a tenth of that is going to give me 8. That's quite tricky with our calculator. So 8 people prefer that. I guess the other thing you could do is spot by now, well, 120 is 12, 90 is 9, so you just take it off a 0, so that'll be 8. And then that one there is going to be 7. That would have probably been a lot easier actually to spot that a bit sooner. And 60 divided by 36 is 10, so if you divided your angles by 10, then you got your answer. So now we know how many men there are that like to do the different things. there are 20 women in this club, the same proportion of women prefer the half marathon. So a quarter of the women prefer the half marathon. Well, that's fairly simple. Find somewhere to type. A quarter of 20 is 5. The same number of women prefer 5k as men. So 7 men preferred 5k, which means that 7 women must prefer 5k. If men and women prefer 10k and the marathon. Well, there's 12 women so far, so there's 8 left. If they're equal, then they're both going to be 4 and 4. So now I've got that, I now need to draw myself my pie chart. So I'm going to do 360 divided by 20 equals, how many times 20 go into that? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200, I'm having a moment here, 18. There we go, because 18 times 2 is 36, so 360, so each person is 18 degrees. Okay, so 5 times 18 then, it's going to give me 90, which we kind of know because it's the same size, same proportion as the men's. I don't need my protractor for that one, I can manage that one. 7 times 18 is 70, sometimes 8 is 56, so that's 126. And again, if you're not comfortable with that, then do yourself a little box method in the corner somewhere. 7 times 18, 7 times 10 is 70, 7 times 8 is 56, put them together is 126. So I've got to measure myself 126 degrees. There it is. 126, so 0 round 120, 126. I'm just going to the edge of my circle. Like that. Now it tells me that the last two, there's equal proportion, so I could just measure that angle and half it. But I've gone to the effort working out 4, so I'm going to times it by 18. It's 72 degrees. So both of these are equal to 72 degrees. So, get your protractor out. Please make sure you can use a protractor. If you really don't know how to use one, you need to come and ask someone and get it sorted out. So there it is, 72 degrees is about there. And we can then see that 144, which is double 72, is over there. So I've got that. Get rid of the protractor, that's done. Before we go running off to the next question, make sure we label it out properly. So half marathon is that one. 5k is that one. 10k is either of these two. Marathon is the other one. How topical that we got the London Marathon this weekend, so happy days. Next one, describe fully the single transformation that maps shape A to shape B. Okay, so it could be translation, reflection, rotation, enlargement. It's not enlargement, it's not bigger. It's not rotation, it's not been spun round, and it's not reflected, it's not been flipped. It's a translation. Now for a translation, you need to say how many squares it's gone left and right and up and down. Just check, are we going from A to B or B to A? A to B. So I'll go this bottom corner here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares right, 2 squares down. 7 right, and 2 down. Now it doesn't ask us to use a column vector, but we should be able to, if it does, which would look a bit like that, with some brackets around it. So look a bit like that, hopefully. Draw the reflection of shape B in the line y equals -1. Let's draw a reflection line first, and y equals -1. Well, there's my y-axis, and that's equal to -1 there, and reflecting shape B. That's there. So if I reflect that over, well, this here, this square here is 1, 2, 3 up, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3 down, it's going to be there. So then it'll look a little bit like that. Oh, this is awkward. we go. Winner. Solve, yay, algebra. 9x minus 3 equals 4x plus 17. So, get rid of the lowest number of x's first. So I'm going to get rid of the 4x here by taking 4x off that side. We're just going to leave 17 on that side. And if I take 4x off this side, then I'm going to get left with 5x minus 3. I'm trying to keep my equal signs lined up. There we go. So now I want to get rid of minus 3. So I'm going to add 3 to this side, which is going to give me 5x. If I add 3 to that side, I get 20. And then finally, divide by 5, and I got my answer for 3 marks. Back of the net. Number 6, factorise. What does factorise mean? Factorise just means putting it into a bracket. So 7 goes into both of them, and we times it by x to get 7x, and times by minus 3 to get minus 21. 7x minus 23. Multiply out this one, 4 times y, that'll be 4y, and 4 times 9 is 36. I mean, them questions always come up, so you need to know how to do them. It's a fairly simple method. Okay, but know what it means, factorise, put it into a bracket. Yeah, and usually it's a number that goes into both. Sometimes it might be a letter, so it might be 7x squared minus 21x, so we can take an x out of here and put them in. They're not worth many marks, but they always come up, so make sure you can do that. Expand and simplify. The key here is, I'm going to highlight it, it's that minus sign there. Got to be careful with it. Okay, there we go now and talk through it. So first bracket, 5 times x, 5x, winner. 5 times minus 3, minus 15. Minus 2 times x, minus 2x. And then this is the tricky bit, it's not 2 times minus 1, it's minus 2 times minus 1. And minus times minus makes positive, so positive 2. Now put them together, 5x take 2x is 3x, and minus 15 plus 2, minus 15 add 2 is, oh, careful, minus 13. And there we have it. This is interesting. The steepness of a railway track is shown by signs like this. On the left of the sign, the track is level. Okay, on the right of the sign, the track raises 1 metre for every 200 metres travelled. So we go 200 metres to the right, oh, there's a little diagram, 200 metres to the right and 1 metre up. Okay, which side of this sign shows the steeper track? Well, let's do ourselves a pretty picture. If I go this way, I'm going 150 metres for 1 metre up. If I go that way, go 120 metres for 1 metre up. Okay, so for 120 metres there, that goes up a metre, and that takes 150 metres to do it. So this side here, the one in 120, is going to be steeper, because it climbs it's 1 metre quicker, 30 metres quicker to be precise. It's steeper. Alright. The steepness can also be measured as a percentage. For example, 1 in 200 would be 1 over 200 times 1,000 times 100, so 0.5%. Okay. The steepest railway line in Britain has a percentage of 2.5%. Fill in this sign to show a steepness of 2.5%. So we're looking for the number that goes here to make that 2.5. But if I times that by 5, then I need to divide that by 5. So for me, it would just be 200 divided by 5, which would be 40. And we can check it. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25, so 1 divided by 40 is 0.025, times 100 is going to give me 2.5%. So I'll make that 1 in 40. The length of this rectangular tile is 6 times the width. Oh, they've even told you 6x and x. Brilliant. 2 tiles are put together. Let's label up. That's 6x. That's 6x. That's x. That's x. That's x. And that there is x. the perimeter of the new shape is 24 centimeters. Work out the width of one tile. So the width is the x value, so we're trying to find x basically. And I just got to remember the perimeter is around the outside. Perimeter goes around the outside, round the outside, round the outside. So if I add them all together, then that's going to give me 24 centimeters. All of my x's have to give it 24 centimeters. So 6x, 7x, 8x, 14x, 15x, 16x equals 24 centimeters. So now I've got to do 24 divided by 16, which without a calculator is actually quite tricky. I would be treating that as a fraction and simplifying it. Okay, so that's going to make life a lot easier. So if I simplify 24 over 16, then I'm going to get 12 over 8, which is 6 over 4, which is 3 over 2. So x is equal to 3 over 2, which means x is equal to 1.5 centimeters. That's a tricky little bit of a division at the end there, so careful with that. Quite often if you've got a division that's quite hard, write it as a fraction and simplify it, and then you should then end up with something a lot nicer that you can sort of deal with. Okay, so 1.5 centimeters, bosh. Number 10, on the grid draw lines to show the regions satisfied by the three inequalities. So your first job is to draw them lines in. Now they're all equal to. Okay, if they weren't equal to, then we'd have dotted lines, but they're all equal to. So we draw x equals 4. Well, x equals 4 is there. Y is equal to x. Or y equals x is the 45 degree diagonal there. And x plus y equals 4. To do that, we join 4 to 4 like that. So now we've done that, we've now just got to be careful that we label the right bit up. X is less than 4. So I know somewhere on this side here of x is 4, y is less than x. Well, if I choose this point here, then y is 3 and x is 5. Y is less than x. So it's under there, so it's somewhere in this triangle here. So it's either this bit or that bit. X plus y is greater than 4. Well, let's choose a point there. 3 plus 2 is 5, which is greater than 4, so that there is true. If I choose a point here, 1 plus 2 is 3, which is not greater than 4. So in that bit. Label the region clearly with the letter R. So it's that region we've got there, that triangle we've got there, satisfy all three inequalities. Work out the sides of angle Y. Right, so this and this are equal. So we've got nice isosceles going on here. So I think our first job is to work out the angle there. I'm going to call it angle x. So x is equal to 180 minus 90 minus 50 because of the triangle. So x is equal to 40 degrees. Okay, so that there is equal to 40. Swap that then. So that there is equal to 40. So now this one here, let's call it z, is equal to 140. Because 180 minus 40 is 140, straight line. Okay, so finally we've now got ourselves an isosceles triangle. So y is equal to 180 minus 140 divided by 2. So y is equal to 180 minus 140 is 40 divided by 2 is 20. So y is equal to 20 degrees. And we're done. Yeah. 11b. A circle is drawn around A, B and C. Give a reason why BC is diameter of the circle. Where circle theorem this goes. And if this angle here is 90 degrees, then it must be a semicircle, which means that that must be the diameter. So the reason I'm looking for is that angle in a semicircle is always 90 degrees. So BC must be the diameter of the circle to make it a semicircle. There we go. Something along those lines. We'll give you the marks. I'd have thought there's only one mark available, so actually angle of semicircle is 90 degrees would probably be enough on that one. But then there's a star on it as well, so go over the top. PQR is an enlargement of ABC. Bosh, bosh. Work out the scale factor enlargement. Well, that's quite easy, you just divide the two numbers. So this length here is 15, and the equivalent length is 6 on that one. So 15 divided by 6 is your scale factor, which is 2.5. Again, you can do that using fractions. If I simplify that and divide both by 3, then I get 5 over 2. And 5 divided by 2, half of 5 is 2.5. So if you're not too keen on them, change to a fraction. Should be able to do that. Write down the size of angle P. Well, it doesn't know how much bigger these sides get, the angle stays the same. So the angle is going to stay at 60 degrees. Just underlined it for you. Okay. Work out the length of AB. Right, so a number times 2.5 is 20. So we need to do 20 divided by 2.5. So how many times does 2.5 go into 20? 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10. It's going to go 8 times into it. Again, if you don't like that, use equivalent fractions. 2.5 up to 5 you double it, so you double 40. And then 40 divided by 5. Come on, easy, 8 centimetres. So that would be your answer to that one. Winner. 13. Write down the median length of the cucumbers grown in the garden. Garden, median length is that number there, 27. It's underlining everything, that's annoying. So that there is 27. Give two comparisons between the lengths of cucumbers grown in the greenhouse and cucumbers grown in the garden. Right, so for me, whenever you're doing a comparison, you want to compare the median, and then you want to compare one of the ranges, so either the interquartile range or the overall range. So comparison 1, the median, the median for the greenhouse is higher grown in the green are slightly bigger. Comparison number 2. God, that underline thing's annoying. Number 2. So I'd look at the interquartile range, look how wide that box is compared to that one there. So the interquartile range for garden is 15, and for the greenhouse is 32, take 21, is 11. So the interquartile range for garden is 15 centimetres, and for greenhouse is 11. So is there is a wider variety of size in the garden than in the greenhouse. There we go. Something along those lines would do. And we could take the same range for that. The range is a lot wider for the garden than it is for the greenhouse. So you could swap interquartile range with the range and just work that out and see the difference there. 14, factorise, factorise, factorise. There is, go away, a squared involved. So if we are going to factorise, then double brackets are more than likely going to be needed. Now, because it's negative 9, we need to have a plus and a minus of the same number, completing the square. That's not completing the square at all. Can't think what it's called. Alright, but that's going to go to that. So now, hence simplify fully. That there. Well, x squared minus 9 is that. And we need to factorise the one on the bottom as well. Squared minus 5x minus 3. So 2x x and then that's going to be minus 3 and plus 1, because that's the only numbers that we can do this. I'm going to need 3 lots of the minus 2 to make that big enough. So that's going to be that. There we go. So under there we're going to have 2x plus 1, x minus 3, go away. So we can factorise both of them. And then once we've factorised them, we can cancel off things that are the same. So that there and that there are the same. And we're left with our answer, which will be, underlined no doubt, x plus 3 over 2x plus 1. Jobs are good. The area of a trapezium is given by the formula. There we go, it's in the front of the book as well. For a trapezium, A equals 5, B equals 8, and H equals 6. All measurements are given to the nearest centimetre. Work out the minimum possible area. Okay, so there's no divisions here, we're adding them or timesing them. So we just want to have the smallest numbers that we possibly could have for each of them. So the smallest A could be is 4.5 centimetres. The smallest B could be is 7.5 centimetres, and the smallest H could be is 5.5 centimetres. So the minimum possible area, min area, equals half of A plus B times H. I'm going to change half to 0.5 just to make my life easier. A plus B, so 4.5 plus 7.5 times 5.5. So that is 4.5 plus 7.5 is 11, is 12. So 0.5 times 12 times 5.5. 1 half of 12 is 6 times 5.5 is 33 centimetres squared. Jobs are good. Rearrange to make H the subject. Okay, so to get rid of the half, we times both sides by 2. So we've got 2a equals, and that's got rid of the half, so I've got a plus b h. Now if I want h on its own, then I'll just divide both sides by that. So h is equal to a divided by a plus b. Nearly done. So, management of a company wants to survey its employees, decides to sample 20% of them. So, to get from 100% down to 20%, we divide by 5. So, all we're going to do is we're going to divide each of these numbers by 5. 12 divided by 5 then, that's 2.4. And drivers, 24 divided by 5, well, that's 4.8. And mechanics divided by 5 is going to be 0.8. Now clearly we can't have them numbers because they ain't going to work. So we'll make it 1 mechanic, round that one up. I'll make it 5 drivers and round that up. And then we'll make it 2 of our office staff. And then that's 7, 8 people, and if I divide that by 40 by 5, then I get 8 people as well. So my answers are 2, 5 and 1. I guess they should be working out, and they should be answers. Surds, everyone loves a surd. So, what square number goes into that? I need to get a little root sign going on here. Right, so root 4, root 3 is the same as root 12, and then root 75 will be well, it's telling me root 3 goes into it, and that will go into it 25 times. Of course it will. So root 25, root 3. So now simplify that. The first bit is 2 root 3, and the second bit, root 25, is 5, so it's 5 root 3. And so if I put them together, 2 root 3 add 5 root 3 is 7 root 3. There's my answer. And it kind of gives me a hint as to how to get there, saying the root 3 thing. So I kind of know I'm on the right lines. 18. Write these numbers in order of size, starting with the smallest. So, 27 to the power of 2/3. Well, in a fraction, the bottom bit is your root, and then you do your power afterwards. So, 27 to 2/3 is the third root of 27 squared. Well, what is the third root of 27? Well, that's 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So that's 3 squared, which equals 9. So that one's 9. Nice. Cubed root of 64 then. So 64 to the third, the cubed root of 64. Well, the cubed root of 64, it's fairly easy. It's 4. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So that's that one. And then, so that's the square root of 4 cubed. The square root of 4 cubed. Well, the square root of 4 is 2. 2. And 2 cubed is 8. So now, in order from the smallest to choose the biggest, we're going to have, I'm going to take little pictures. So smallest to biggest, the smallest is third root of 64. So that's that one. The next smallest is that one, and the last smallest is that one. Job's a good one. Nearly done. So ABCD is a triangular-based prism. A is directly above B. BC is BD, so they're the same. AB is 2 lots of BC, so that's 2x there. Up the side there. And that length there is the same, so that's an x there. And there's your rule. Right, so the base area is this triangle here, is base times height divided by 2. So base times height is x squared divided by 2 is a half. Nearly done. And then the height, well, that's 2x. So I'm going to put all of that into here. I've kind of done this one already. So the volume is a third times the base area times the height. And the volume is 72. So now we've got to work out what x is equal to. So I'm going to get rid of the third, I'm going to times by 3. so 216, and I got rid of that, I was just left with the next bit. And then I mean half times by 2, keep it the same, so I could just get rid of them, but I'm going to get rid of the half by times by 2, and then get rid of the 2 by dividing by 2. So I get left with 216 is x squared times x, which is x cubed, and the cubed root then of 216 is going to be 6. So my answer is equal to 6. Hopefully that follows. Last one then. The diagram shows a sketch of that. The graph crosses the axis at 2, 0 and 4, 0. Work out the value of b. Well, I'm going to work out the value of the whole thing. So, if it crosses at 2, 0 and 4, 0, then it means that minus 2 x minus 4 is the equation, because if x is 2, then this bit is 0, which is why the other one is 0, and if x is 4, then the top bracket is 0, which means the whole thing is 0, y is equal to 0 there. So that's my equation. Now I'm going to expand that, so I've got x squared minus 2x minus 4x plus 8. So x squared minus 2x minus 4x, and then minus 2 times minus 4 is plus 8. And if I then combine them together, minus 2x minus 4x gives me minus 6x. Although actually we don't really need to worry about that anymore, because it wants the value of b, and b is the bit that's stuck on the end there. So b equals 8 is the bit we're after. Jobs are good. Right, again, any questions, talk to me, talk to your teacher, and get to the bottom of it. I think we're just about there.